Yep, that's it. Now, like we were talking off air, and I have to say, many people liked the original Hot Tub Time Machine movie. For me, it was always an Emperor's New Clothes kind of thing. I didn't hate the first one, I just didn't gel for me. I just want to get that out first and foremost before we get into the meat and potatoes of this. So, Hot Tub Time Machine 2 takes place shortly after the first movie, where Lou has used time manipulation things to make him a multi-billionaire in the future. He's invented the internet and social networking and mobile phones and this, that and the other. He's incredibly rich. All his friends are incredibly rich. Then one day someone shoots him. So all the gang try and save him. They take him into the time machine so they can go back in time to figure out who shot him. But accidentally, due to wacky shenanigans, they end up in the future where they're all miserable, and it's the same movie as the first one, except in the future. We're in typical sequel territory, ladies and gentlemen. It's the same movie again. This time, even... Now, the problem is, once you've seen these jokes before, they kind of lose their spark to it. And it's odd seeing as the director and the writer of this both directed and wrote the previous Hot Tub Time Machine movie, and it seems to lack the spark that the first one had. What I'll say for this movie's credit is at least it justifies its story a little bit better than Paul Blart Mall Cop, which spent so much of its time undoing the previous movie just to justify itself. Here, it's a new adventure with the characters that you know and you like, doing the same wacky stuff that they've done before. The problem is, we've seen it all before, so there's no real where else to go from a comedic standpoint. At least it has an idea. I can say that for it. I give it a thumbs up for that. My problem is, it's just the same movie, except without John Cusack in it, who was in the first one, and depending on which version you see, may appear at some point in whichever version you see of it. Well, there's an unrated version and there's a theatric version. If you see the unrated version, he makes an appearance. In the theatric version, he doesn't, though it's kind of a cameo appearance and it's like a one-note joke kind of thing. And the problem is, his absence from the movie is one of the massive things I have issues with it, because his character in the first one was the straight man. He was the one that the wacky characters played off, and without him in the movie, it's just the wacky characters doing wacky things. Ha 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 ha, which is stuff I wasn't terribly keen on the first time round. The problem I have with it is that I understand why people like the first movie. I'm not saying I didn't like the first movie, I'm just saying it's not for me. But the problem I have with this, it feels cynical. It's them trying to squeeze as much money out of the franchise as they can by just doing the same thing again without any real spark or any real creativity thrown into it, which is odd, as once again it's made by the same people who made the first one, which just has me scratching my head wondering, well, shouldn't it, this doesn't compute. My overriding feeling with this was just boredom. I didn't hate it. It didn't make me angry. It didn't make me as angry as I was when I was watching Paul Blart, but I've seen it all before. I've done it all before, and it feels totally pointless to me. If you are a fan of it, then see it on DVD or video or whatever. Don't see it in the cinema because it's not worth your money. Sadly, it really isn't worth your money.